this here. I sense that there's probably going to be a major attack here pretty soon here. Fantasy has got his forces set up. Stork going around from behind. He's got a shuttle going behind. I'm not exactly sure what's in that shuttle.
Let's see. We
Stork going in here. Sorry, DJ yelling behind me. Stork coming in for a huge attack. He has a ton of zealots here, a crap ton of zealots, and oh my goodness, he has not vultures. Fantasy has not enough vultures to protect. Stork is overrunning Fantasy, a complete utter rampage. Fantasy being pushed back in the middle. His containment is completely broken. Look at this. Stork has a complete double psi advantage over Fantasy right now. Stork has 120 psi, and Fantasy has 60 psi right now. Fantasy has 3 vultures and 2 tanks, and Stork has a control group of each of his units. That was a complete and utter rolling there. That was insane, and the reason why DJ was yelling behind me was because Stork has a ton of gateways just pumping out more units to reinforce right now.
I love this strategy here. This is really old school Protoss. This is, you know, I'm gonna say this was some manlots borrowed from Reach from KTF. Basically was like, hey Stork, take these 24 zealots of mine and go and kill every tank of Fantasies in the last game, will you? And Stork was like, alright, yeah, I'll take that low.
Fantasy's expanding.
Yeah, Fantasy trying to get an expansion. I don't know if that's a good idea at all. Stork going in with more speed lots here, and you know, this is why it's an old school build. What you do is you expand a lot of times, you don't get up tech. All you get is observers. He had a couple of shuttles too, and then you just get mass man lots, or speed lots, I guess, if you want to call them that. Lots of speed lots, and then you break the turn using that great timing push. And Stork has Fantasy completely pinned in his base now. He's going to pick off those vultures. He's probably going to regroup, and then he's going to storm in with his speed lots and then just finish Fantasy off. Right now, this game is completely in Stork's ballpark. I mean, Fantasy with just 2 tanks left. I mean, I just gotta say, that was an amazing surround there by those speed lots. Just absolutely incredible. And Stork looks like he might actually have that trophy within, you know, just fingers width reach from his hands right now.
First of all, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Yes, it's probably a good assumption now, but the thing that really made that attack work was the shuttle. The shuttle going in behind and dropping the units.
Oh, here it comes.
And if he can do a mind drag, and the mind drag.
Oh my god, a double mind drag there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Stork now rushing in.
Is in the natural base now, pushing Fantasy back into his natural, destroying the bunker at the front at the very least. This is not going to break Fantasy's door right now, but he's driving it home just slowly and steadily now. Fantasy is definitely being driven back. Fantasy desperately trying to do some damage to Stork by breaking through this pylon wall over here. But I'm not sure if that's a cannon warping in nearby. Yeah, look at the cannon. Stork is actually pushing in the natural. Stork has zealots up his ramp. Stork is in Fantasy's main. Oh my gosh, the Stork is going crazy right now. Stork is taking out Fantasy's expansion at the moment. Oh my goodness, and Stork just completely macroing like a beast here. Now Stork, he's not out of this yet. He still needs to focus. He can't just throw away his troops completely. He can't pull a for GG game 2. He needs to focus and just macro up here and use his advantage to hold the game longer. But assuming that he focuses on this game, and yeah, he is falling back. He's not throwing away any more forces. He's got a firm grip on this game right now.
Has he scouted Fantasy's base at 9 o'clock?
I'm not sure, but Fantasy looks like he's going to lose these vultures now, shooting at that cannon. Oh, that was close, actually. I think it was just one more shot, and that cannon would have gone down. So Fantasy has done some damage to Stork, but yeah, I mean, Stork has done massive damage to Fantasy just by taking out all those tanks. It's going to slow Fantasy down so long, and whenever Stork decides to go and get some more tech, maybe tech to arbiters, he's going to be able to just stomp on Fantasy. Fantasy has basically no ability to move out at this point with only 4 or 5 tanks total, and Stork might be going in once again for a raid on those tanks, or maybe he's just, yeah, he's gonna kill off these mines, and he's probably gonna set himself up for another attack, although maybe that will be a little hasty because he doesn't really have enough forces to break that. I think those 6 tanks up there. Fantasy does have a mineral only expansion there at the 9, and I think Knights, you're right, I don't think Stork actually has scouted that yet. And Fantasy
champagne ready to go. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, you're right. They do have champagne ready to go. There's Posey in there. He's like, I hope I'm strong enough to open up the cap of this so I can spray it over him. But I think that's a little bit hasty though. Fantasy is still not out of this game entirely. He still could get back, and Fantasy meanwhile is trying to use his trademark vulture skills here to try to get a good harassment off. He's actually in the natural expansion of Storks, and he's going to pick off a lot of probes here too, actually. So not bad there by Fantasy. It looks like these speedbots are going to clean up this attack, but he's just desperately trying to do something to slow Stork down. But Stork's already got his 4th base going up, so I just don't know how long Fantasy can hold here before Stork gets a little bit more tech and just overruns him. And there's the Arbiters coming up.
Yeah, Stork definitely has this game in hand. I think it is kind of important what I think Knight said earlier, that I don't think he's scouted the left-hand base yet, otherwise he could have easily taken it out. I think that's the only reason why Fantasy is still in this game, because he's able to keep up that intake at only 2 bases versus now 4. You know, so since he has 3 bases instead, he's able to kind of keep up a little bit here. He does need to accomplish a little bit more with this harassment. And it looks like he is rushing some vultures. And yeah, he's going to take out even some more probes. So nicely done on Fantasy's part. The SKT team there just cheering for him, finally getting some more probes there. But now he's going to even spot these arbiters coming out. Yeah, you broke the pylon, try breaking down a Stargate now with Stork's army breathing down your neck. And just look at Stork's army now, though. He has a huge, huge army. And I think he may, if he goes down this ridge, he's going to spot that base and going to be able to take out that base. But Stork keeps toying with me, running his army that direction and then running away. But
he hasn't spotted it. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, he hasn't spotted it. Here we have first-person view of Stork. It's the only part of the map he hasn't scouted at all.
That is hilarious.
And Fantasy has a little base over there. But still, Fantasy's still not in that good of condition, though.
Yeah, that's a really ballsy place to put your expansion, but it's absolutely smart. It's a really smart position, actually, because it's right below Stork's, and you're right, Stork would not expect there to be an expansion there. It's his only dark spot. Oh, he's bringing his... the Observer doesn't see it yet. Stork just not moving up there, and Best is hoping that Stork just doesn't see it somehow. Oh, the Observer walks away. So, yes, Stork doesn't know about this expansion, and I still don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference, though, because Stork's going to have Arbiters coming out, and the number of tanks is still really low for Fantasy. If Stork can scout that this pusher's coming out, he can stop it.
Fantasy tried to push out. He was caught pushing out right at the clump of his tanks. He didn't have time to get in position. Storm goes out over everything. Oh my gosh!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! Storm all over.
Oh my god!
And the Dragoons just mopping up. Oh my goodness, timing attack again for the win. Stork catching the tanks on their way out. Fantasy saw Stork's army moving in and had no choice but to siege up. All of his tanks were in a huge clump. Perfect, ripe for the taking. And those 4 Templar dropped right out of that shuttle and stormed the crap out of Fantasy's army. Fantasy has nothing left. His main base is broken. Stork is killing off his natural, and there's a dozen Dragoons in the vicinity. He's gonna lose his expansion. This is GG. Stork, after so many tries, is going to take the OSL championship finally.
Wow, yeah, Fantasy's not quitting yet. But I mean, those were some Jangbi High Templar there being shuttled in there and causing the necessary damage. Without those High Templar, it would have been very hard to break that huge number of tanks. But you're right, the clump tanks were just perfect targets there. And now Arbiters are out. There's absolutely nothing Fantasy can do but GG. I guess this is his first OSL finals. This is his first OSL, so I mean, he wants to just hang out somehow. But I mean, didn't matter at the end that Fantasy had that extra powered mineral. It just wasn't enough.
Has Stork even scouted it
one
yet?
tank. No,
it doesn't matter.
Still even scouted that base, but it did not even matter.
Yeah.
Fantasy GG.
Oh, GG!
Stork is now your OSL champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, his teammates are running up there with so much champagne.
OSL champion. And we're gonna see if they cut it up.
The crowd goes wild in the chat channel. Stork cannot even believe it. He is so happy right now. Look at him coming out here right now. The champagne in his eyeball, all over him. 2 or 3 bottles. He took off his glasses to wipe his eye. Oh my god, beautiful sight.
Thanks there,
Absolutely
Frozien.
beautiful.
Wow.
Frozien contributing something. He's contributing champagne. Now here comes the rest of the team. They're drenching him with champagne there.
He's
I want to see
totally
if Fiber
deserves
Hero. I want to see if Fiber Hero starts dancing for no reason on the stage because he does that. But this is Stork's moment. It's Stork's moment. Here comes the throw. They better catch him seriously, because Samson Khan has had some serious problems with catching people. After winning the Pro League finals, I'm a little worried. All right, good. They put him down. They put him down before he broke his ankle or something. But Stork now completely soaked in champagne. He can't see because of the sugary alcohol in his eyes, but that's alright. I can't say Fantasy played poorly either. Stork with just that brilliant timing attack in the middle of the game, using those manlots and those goons to go and crush Fantasy's attempt in the middle. I was saying, Fantasy, you can't stay in the middle unless you're just sure you can hold it, and Fantasy went out and he ventured in the middle and then he got flanked and dropped and destroyed, just completely run over. Just a bad place to be in that center of the map as a turn. I mean, you think that you're safe there, but you're not safe. And Stork, I can't even tell if he's crying or just he's got champagne in his eyes, but it really doesn't matter, does it?
What's the difference? Yeah, so what do you think was the biggest reason for just the overrunning of Fantasy's army? Was it because of Stork's brilliant push, or was it because of the way that Fantasy ventured out into no man's land like he probably shouldn't have?
Well, in that first attack in the middle, if that's what you're talking about, he just clearly didn't have the vulture support to protect his tanks, because Stork ran in there and he had like 4 or 5 vultures at the time I saw. Maybe I missed a few dying or something like that, but he basically had less than a control group of vultures trying to hold off more than a control group of zealots, and it was just not enough. You need, I mean, in that game on Return of the King, he had a ton of vultures in the way in his choke point there to protect the tanks, and that's how he won it. But this time he just didn't have the vulture support, and his tanks got overrun. And from that point on, it was just Stork's game to control and to out macro him. And then we saw the devastating effect of the out macroing in that final battle, combined with just a perfect timing push by Stork right when Fantasy was moving out. I mean, Stork must have heard the tanks unsieging from across the stage in Fantasy's booth and known that was the perfect moment to go in there, or more likely he had observers above his base or something like that. But
that is, yeah.
At that point, there was just nothing that Fantasy could do.
I can be relatively sure that he had observers there, but that is the epitome of Protoss versus Terran. When the Terran sieges up, you move in. Or when the Terran moves out and is unsieged or is in the middle of sieging up, you move in and you take them. And it was just a great play by Stork to just take advantage of that timing. You can just see how happy he is. And I'm sure all of us are just so incredibly happy for him, just after 9 tries, winning the OSL.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, definitely. Real quick, because it's going on, losing ID 8, one of the staff members of Team Liquid is kind of translating what Stork is saying. Since I've always gotten second, I don't really know what to say right now. Since it's the first time winning, I don't know how to feel. I'm very used to giving second place speeches. I'm happy to be the first Samsung player to win an individual league. I was able to win through the support of all my teammates, my fans, and my family. I messed up in the third set. Apparently, yeah. I mean, think of the other players on Samsung. Jangbi, Firebat Hero, they've
come in second so many times.
Anyway, keep going. Oh, Dinosaur Protoss fans!
Yes!
Dinosaur Protoss fans. That is almost the same suit that Stork was wearing, actually, in those infamous dinosaur shots. But anyway, keep going, Moletrap.
Nice. Yeah, he was in a Pro League game with Stork the other day, I think. Or maybe it was the MSL or something. Anyway, Stork says, I messed up in the third set, and he prepared such a good build in the fourth set, so I felt like I was losing my face, but I was able to regain my composure and win the fifth set. This is only my first title. Oh, this is on the same league as Savior's Destroyer speech here, guys. This is my first title, but this is just the start of my mission. In the future, I will do my best to win.
And he didn't
Nice.
he didn't ask for our permission. How rude of him. I mean, okay.
Okay.
Is it okay if I
And,
continue to win?
He's thanking his parents right now, and he hasn't been able to support them with a win, and so he's always wanted to say "I love you, mom and dad" after a win. Apparently, so he's finally getting. I think that was his parents right there that they showed on the screen a moment ago. So, again, thanks very much to Losing ID8 from Team Liquid for doing the translation.
So I'm gonna hop in. I'm gonna unmute Sal so we can get some post game in quick. DJ asked me to hurry it up. So I'm gonna unmute him if that's okay with you.
다른 기록들은 이제 선수들이
Sounds good.
만들 수 있는데 웬만하면 이 기록
Hey, how's it going?
깨지지 않을까
But yeah, just closing thoughts. I mean, there's a reason why they use Gatorade in American football games, because I think it's just better on your eyes afterwards, because Stork's still squinting from all the champagne and Jangby, and freaking cute Angel, Frozian who doesn't contribute anything. Like, he was the first guy who's like, hey, let me squirt champagne into your eyes and make you temporarily blind. But yeah, no, Stork winning the OSL, incredible play. Overall, I think to answer your question, Knights, it was that awesome timing push in the middle when he still hadn't gotten his Templar out, still didn't have any tech, but just had those extra minerals from that third base. He just was able to mass produce speed lots, and then just that after that army was gone, I think Fantasy just couldn't recover. I mean, it was just too hard to recover from.
Yeah, I've a little.
Do you want what Fantasy is saying right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I have something to say about Frozian, but go ahead.
Yeah. So first of all, they basically said to him, like, victory was right in front of you, and you lost. How do you feel? And he's like, first off, congrats to Stork for winning. Next season I will improve what I feel my shortcomings are and win. So that's pretty cool. That, he's being modest. He's actually congratulating Stork. Whereas Stork was actually, I think when he lost to Bisu, he was a little bit bad-mannered. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm a better player and I messed up a little bit. Otherwise I would have won. So that's cool, Fantasy, to actually be,
Nice.
Anyway, today I wasn't able to show my best play, and next time I will do my best to show everything I have. So actually that's kind of on the same lines, but not quite as bad-mannered as the way Stork said it before. What are you talking about, Frozian?
Oh, on the TL write-up of the MSL round of 16, when Nada beat Frozian in a game. Anyway, go watch that game if you haven't. Me and Diggity commentated it. But in the recap of it, they said 4 words and 4 screenshots, and it was in big block letters that said who picture is picture cute picture now, and I laughed so hard when I saw that, because it's just, yeah, Frozian cute Angel. I mean, give me a freaking break. But yeah, I'm just really glad Stork finally got his OSL. If he didn't win it now, he would like have the reversed golden mouse. It would be like a golden something else. 3 second place finishes in the OSL.
Oh man, GG, and now he gets his big huge check, I think.
Yeah, there's a huge check there.
20 million Wulongs for Stork.
20 million won.
Damn.
Not bad.
Or,
I think it's
or
about
that,
20,000.
Fantasy, sorry. That's for
That
fantasy.
could be for fantasy, actually.
That's
yeah,
for
that's for
fantasy.
fantasy. I think the first prize is like 50,000 US or something like that. That's the last time I checked, I remembered.
20 mil Wulong is how much in US? I don't know the exchange.
It's about $20,000.
It is
Okay.
exactly $16,163.57.
Oh right, the US currency has been growing stronger recently. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, Stork. Stork, I mean, I think with this under his belt, I mean, the sky's the limit for him. I could see him obviously winning the WCG. I don't know what happened against Cal, so I'm not going to comment on whether he's going to move on or not in the MSL. But certainly the WCG, I see him taking his second title in a row, although he's going to have some tough competition with Jadong there. And oh man, the SKT1 mascot is actually there, and I'm glad he's on stage, even though it is only going to be celebrating the second place of Fantasy. And I think they're going to squirt something at him. Oh, they got one bottle of champagne. Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. At least he got something. At least he got picked up anyway.
This is the royal.
Oh my God!
Right
Did it drop?
Oh, man.
That was pretty close to dropping. I don't know.
He dropped his flowers and stuff was flying all over the place. And
So,
Oh,
Cholera,
man, that
you
was
realize that
Bull T had it.
by saying Stork is going to win his second consecutive World Cyber Games, you know what level you're
Right.
putting him on, right? Only one other player has ever done that.
That is true, and that is Boxer. Slayer's Boxer. I mean,
You're putting him up there with Box.
I'm putting them up there, but I mean, I'm just saying Stork is the best player in the world right now. I'm definitely saying that. I mean, Jadong is
No
damn
doubt
good, but Stork right now is at the pinnacle of the game right now.
seriously,
And
you also
I
have
don't
to
know.
look at it this way. I mean, sure, he's only gotten silvers, right? But I mean, look at how many freaking finals he's been to. He's been to so many finals. I mean, not many players have that many appearances in the quarterfinals, and he's been to so many finals. I mean, seriously, if you just count medals, then he's got almost as many medals as any of the other major players that are in the game. You know, any of the legends. So, yeah.
And that kind of just, this whole thing just killed my feature article I was writing. I was writing an article on Yellow, and it was titled The Original King of Silver, but now I need to change that.
Yeah, you will. I want to congratulate Stork for essentially scaring the shit out of every single one of his fans after dropping 2 games in a row like that. Because I know everybody was shitting their pants when he lost both, and it was going into that last match. So he did a good job there before winning,
say that.
you know, making sure everyone thought he was in a choke. But, and I also like how they attacked him with champagne and then start throwing him around like a rag doll afterwards too. That was nice. That was a good
Yeah, they
touch.
do have a habit of doing
that was
that.
nice.
And
Yeah,
they do have a habit of abusing physically either the winning player or the winning coach. Like January was just basically manhandled by her team, Samsung Gone, a few months ago. But anyway, we'll see if Stork decides to start making out with this trophy in about a second, or if his real-life girlfriend will actually show up. Although, you know, I don't know where she is, but he does have a real-life girlfriend, by the way. Some of the programmers are sort of recommended not to have them. But he has quite a good-looking real-life girlfriend, actually. There's evidently pictures of her around. And there's the OSL pin on his lapel there of that snazzy Samcon jacket. Who?
Stork.
That could be her, or... Yeah, that could be her, actually. I think she was a little skinnier than
nice.
that. But,
First, I'd like to thank you for pulling a Stork in the pregame show and showing up, what was it, 20 minutes late and leaving me there alone. That was wonderful.
I believe it was 10.
But it was something. But and also, you know, Cholera, I love how you're beating into the ground the fact that it's a real life girlfriend and not like an internet girlfriend or something.
yeah, right.
Well, it's not
not
like
a
he was
virtual
dancing
girlfriend.
with backhoe and
Playing
a
up how
press.
unlikely that it.
Oh God.
Oh God, yeah. That is terrible.
Well, I just
Let's
looked up.
never
I
mention
just
it
looked
again.
up the. I just looked up the stats, and Stork has as many individual medals, or has more individual than Yellow, and is only 1 behind the number of individual medals that Boxer has.
That somehow does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, I mean, Stork has been around, like, winning things. He has, 4 silvers right now, and 1 bronze, and now a gold.
I think 5 silvers.
Oh, is it 5 or 4? Yeah, I think it depends on what you count, but 2 OSL silvers.
Cyber Game Korea, 2 OSL, and 1 MSL.
Yeah, and 1 GSI title, silver, actually.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if you count the
And a
Com
bronze.
TV, then he's got a couple more silvers.
Now, how
I think
ironic
one
is
of the
it?
medals you're counting KnightofNi is like an OSC or something.
Yeah. Anyway.
OCL, yeah.
Yeah. No, his bronze was an OSL actually. I think.
It was
His-
the
he has a
OSL
gold.
that Iris
Oh, he has two
GG
bronze.
played.
Oh no, you're right. His previous gold was like an OSC. You're right. He had like a first
Yeah, it
place
doesn't
tier,
count.
It wasn't a real tournament. But yeah,
That
he
was
had a OSL
2004. That
bronze.
was a long time ago.
How ironic is it that before this we were talking about how if Stork didn't win, that essentially this would be maybe his last chance, and now that he has won, even him himself is saying this is just the beginning. So do you think there's any credibility to that, or are you guys still
That's a
gonna
good
stick with
question.
the fact that people
I
are
mean,
saying
if he had
didn't win this,
lost-
it was over? So
If he had
is this
lost the
a
last
highlight
game,
for him?
I would have. I don't know. I mean, I would have just been so. I think he would have been, and most of his fans would have been so downtrodden by that, so depressed by that, that they would kind of have written him off. Like, I mean, he's in the OSL with someone who's completely new to the game. I mean, this is going to be one of the easiest OSLs. You know, no offense to fantasy, but it's one of the easiest OSL finals possible. So if he couldn't win this, then I just didn't know. I wouldn't have known what he could have done. You know, how he could have won. But certainly, he would have been strong in the
Yeah.
pro league. Still, he still would have been a strong player. But he would be someone like, I don't know, like a Midas or like a Yellow, for example. I think Yellow would have been the best
Yeah.
example. He would have been Yellow. I mean, no one expects Yellow to win things. They just expect him to get to the finals. Well, back in his day, you know, that's what people thought. Nowadays, if Yellow shows up
Here he
to
is
practice,
making his
people are
girlfriend
impressed.
jealous. Making his girlfriend jealous with the trophy.
Oh, there we
He's not
go.
really kissing it.
Oh
he's
yeah,
just kind
yeah.
of breathing.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a-
give it some tongue. Give it some tongue.
No, no, it's good,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
good.
that's
Only
the
July,
stuff.
only
Oh,
July
yeah.
makes out with it. He's really shy with the trophy, actually. He's getting to know the trophy
look,
a
he's
little
not
bit.
really-
It's like he doesn't
Right.
know what he's supposed to do with it.
This cast just became X-rated.
July's
Does he
trophy is
make
going to
it?
be giving birth in about 6 more months.
No, July. No,
Thanks, Moletrap.
July like made out with the golden mouse. That's what he did.
Stork's trophy is going to maybe go out to coffee with him sometime, but maybe not return his calls.
Well, they need to know each other first.
I think he's being
His Stork doesn't
pretty
know what
decent.
to do with himself.
Is this part of the
So-
cast though, where he's supposed to like make out with the trophy for like the next 2 minutes? Because I think that's what they
It kinda
want
looks
him
like
to
it.
do.
Yeah,
They
you
want
just
him
kinda
to
keep
stand there for
looking at
photo
it
ops.
and then just kind of breathing on it and kissing it a bit.
So in
It's
the,
literally like breathing on it.
so
Anyway.
in the 25th OSL, the Legend of the Fall continued.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
25th
For real.
OSL. This is kind of an appropriate OSL for such a landmark too, to have, you know, the Royal Rotor versus the second king of
9
second.
and 10.
And you know what that means? You know what that means? Stork is not as good as Yellow at getting second place, so he came in second in the second category.
Fail.
We'll still find a way to bash him on this, won't we?
No matter what happens.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
how
Sorry, Stork,
handily
but-
he won. Like, he won the 3 games he won, like, quite easily, and then the 2 he lost were, like, nothing like the 3 he won.
Yeah, those were just kind of random. I think Stork,
Yeah.
even though it was technically 3-2, Stork definitely deserved that win. He definitely dominated the series.
Yeah,
I
for
mean, I could
real.
have seen that being 3-0 almost.
3-0 with like
3-2 makes it seem a little too close considering the games themselves.
it's like in the semifinals of I think it was Ever when Jaedong beat Up Magic. Moletrap, you constantly called that like 3 to 2.6, even though it's actually 3 to 0.
Yeah.
This you could almost like do like 3 to maybe 0.8 or something like that, because it really it was a build order win in game 4, and then Stork just screwed up in game 3, and the map doesn't like him.
Yeah, well, the map
Well, anyway, so what is your verdict on Fantasy? Is he the real deal? He just needs some time to mature, or is he just really kind of a flash in the pan?
I have to say, I'm going to be bold and say he's a flash in the pan. Yes, he got through GG play, but only with a build. At this point, I can't even call it revolutionary because it's so easily countered by just mass links, as we've seen by Effort and several other Zerg players have just completely overrun the build recently, and it was just something that we hadn't seen in a really long time because, well, the mech isn't exactly the most popular build ever, and that's from like several years ago. So GG Play probably just didn't know the proper counters to it, or couldn't think of them off the top of his head on the fly in the games that he did. And then Fantasy really did not look that impressive in this set. It might have just been that it was a finals, but he just didn't look. He didn't look that good.
That's Backo. Is that Backo?
Oh my God! Yes, that's Backo.
I just saw that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, someone in the channel was saying, don't mention C. C Shield is next, man. If Stork can win an OSL, C Shield. Yeah.
C's gotta get out of the round of 16
C has to
first.
get out. Yeah, that's what I was saying. C has to actually get.
C will make it into the round
finals.
He's gonna make it to the round of 8 before being eliminated. That's our high hopes for C Shield for next season.
I'm going to make a bold prediction about C Shield. He's going to make the semifinals.
Okay, well that's
That is
interesting.
pretty bold.
That's a bold statement. But anyway, I think I think we should get this thing at least in the starting process of being wrapped up. And I'd just like to say once again, oh, there's Reach, by the way. Special thanks to Reach for borrowing Stork, lending Stork those man lots that it took for Stork to win the OSL. And also thanks to Dirty J once again. Thank you so much, man. www.esportstv.com for doing this entire stream and for just being an awesome dude. Also for doing the Star Cup games. And thanks to SCGG.com, of course. Thanks to my co-commentators. Go check out the Endurance Tournament. That's all I can think of, so go ahead, Moletrap.
To put... Oh, I guess the stream just died, so we definitely should wrap up here. But to put it in a little perspective, DJ has to go to San Francisco in about an hour. So he has stayed up all night to help us with this cast and to make sure this happened at the expense of having any sleep for a long day of traveling and events tomorrow. So, definitely have to give it up to him to,
Wow.
3 cheers for him for
Hip
helping
hip
us out
hooray.
hardcore style.
Huge thanks.
And, I think maybe what we should do is just say, let's talk it up in the forums about what happened here and,
Right, make sure you post
let
that
DJ get a little nap in before he has to drive off. And, there's going to be tons of things to discuss, more than we could possibly discuss right now anyway. So I guess a few seconds for closing thoughts if they need to be made, but let's just get out of here.
240 gold
No,
for
just
MSL,
huge-
2,000.
Just huge shout out to Dirty J. Man, thanks, dude. God,
By the way,
for spending your entire night.
Final count, we maxed over 1,000 viewers at one point, and we had, what was the number you said? We had 242,000 total minutes watched.
Wow.
That's
That's
a
a
lot.
lot of time wasted. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So,
It's not wasted.
Not wasted at all, man. That was great.
No, a lot of entertainment provided, I meant. But
Do you have anything to say?
Just thanks for everyone for making this happen. I mean, it's always a great time when I do these pregame shows. It's always a great time to watch these, and I need to go get some sleep because I have a Frisbee tournament to play in at 1.
Same here.
Nice.
Special thanks to Vladi Divac.
The best
Come
flopper
on.
ever.
okay, guys. Good night or good
All
morning
right,
to
good night,
everybody.
everybody.
I'm gonna go back to sleep. I will be around the IRC to chat though, and if someone wants to play a game with me at some point later today, I'll be around also. All right, guys.
All right,
And
sounds
I
good.
luckily
out.
did not have to commit suicide by crashing on my way home and going to sleep.
Nice.
Yeah, and someone
All
call
right.
Psionic a cab wherever he is right now.
Yeah,
Wherever he is in the world. Yeah, out there in the world right now.